Most of us know that processed food are not good for us. What exactly is not good about it? In today's video, I'm going to share with you why we should limit our processed food intake. And also, I'm going to tell you the difference between whole food, less processed food, and heavily processed food. Keep watching to learn more. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josy. I'm a pharmacist with holistic background. In today's video, I'm sharing with you processed food. Under normal circumstances, it's very impossible to cut down processed food from your life. The reason why a lot of people eat processed food is that it's about the convenience. Yes, because it's already ready to go. So you just picked it up and you're on your way. But why is it that processed food is not good for us? In today's video, I'm not going to tell you that take processed food out of your diet completely, but minimizing it will help you a long way. That's why we have something called balance. So you have to balance it out. So eating it all the time does not help our health at all. My number one point is that you have to know the different type of processed food. We have the heavily processed food. Those ones have went through the machine and the food is being processed to turn in another way or another form. Example of that is berries. When you take blueberries, strawberries, all the berries that you know, most of you knows that they have a jam for it. So what they do is that they process the berries and they add a lot of artificial ingredient to it and they turn it into jam or butter. And you can use it for spread on your bread and any other examples. But remember, how was that food processed? It went through a lot of machine and at times you lose all the nutrients content before you get to that stage. So that's what we call the heavy processed food. We also have a less processed food. When it comes to less processed food, it's when something is turned from another way to the other, but that one is less. It hasn't gone through a lot of machine. It's minimal processed one. Example is peanut butter. So what they normally do to the peanut is that they just grind it in a machine and they turn it into a butter. That one is less. Like when you take almond butter. I can do almond butter from my house. I just have to put the almonds in the oven, like roast it a little bit. And I'll put it in my processor and I can do almond butter. At this point, I have minimized processing to turn into butter. I didn't eat it in the original form. But when you buy the one from outside, normally they'll add a lot of salt to it so that it can be on the shelf for a long time. So that's the less processed food. Then we also have the original stage. That's the whole food. And that one is the best one for us. The whole food is like your berries. They come in whole. We have strawberry, blackberries, like I said, for the heavy processed food. So when you eat the berries like that, that one is whole food. You get all the nutrients. It's nutrient condensed. So you get all your vitamins and your minerals in it because it wasn't processed. And you also get your fiber. That's the most important as well, because fiber helps us in our digestive system. So that's why I'm always talking about whole food. When you eat the food in whole, it's the best thing ever. Now that you know the different type of processed food, my second point is that it lowers the fiber intake. Like I said, processed food went through a lot of machine before they turn into another form. So when it's processed, they take out the fiber. So processed food normally don't have any fiber at all. And do you know what fiber does for our body? It helps our digestive system. It prevents us from getting constipated. So it really helps us. So if you are eating food and there's no fiber, just imagine how your digestive system will take it. So make sure you lower your processed food intake so that you will get your fiber. One thing the fiber also does, when you eat a lot of food with fiber, it keeps you full for a long time. So it means that it helps you so that you wouldn't eat a lot of junk food to gain weight. So it can help also for you to lose weight as well. And we all know that we get a lot of fiber from our whole food, like fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and many more. My third point is that processed food has a lot of sugar. When the food is being processed, it doesn't taste good at all. They add a lot of sugar to processed food so that they can taste really good. Example is soups that is being processed, cake, and many more. So that's why when the food is processed through the machine or anyhow, if you don't add a lot of sugar, it wouldn't taste good. And in a day, do you know that we just need just a few amount of sugar in our body? Recommended added sugar that we need a day is about 25 to 30 grams of sugar a day. It's just very little. So watch out when you are eating processed food and make sure you read your label to know how much of sugar is in that processed food. And also, please watch out your sugar intake. It affects the whole body as well. Talking about sugar, processed food also contain a lot of artificial ingredients. You can't even count them how many artificial ingredient is being added to processed food. They add coloring to the food to make it look like the same as what is being processed. And also they add stability so that the food can stay in the shelf for a long time. And also they add gums and all sorts of things that are not good for us. All these ingredients does not help our gut system at all. So when you buy a processed food, take your time to look at what ingredient is in this processed food. There's a bunch of them. They are uncountable. So watch out for what is going in your body. Fourth point that I want to talk about is refined carbohydrate. Carbohydrate in general doesn't have a good name at all. But a bad carbohydrate is the one in processed food. The one in whole food is good for us because it contains the fiber. So when you eat it, it balances it out. When it comes to carbohydrate, the source of the carbohydrate that you take really tells you whether it's good or bad. The refined carbohydrate in processed food are not good for us at all. The refined carbohydrate spikes our blood sugar level. So when you eat it, it doesn't make you satisfied at all. You keep on getting hungry and it keep on making you eat all the time, which is not good for us. The reason why the carbohydrate in processed food are not good for us is that they don't contain fiber. So because the fiber intake has been taken out, it's also not good for us at all. My last point is what I love so much. Processed food can make you get sick and it can cause a lot of health issues like diabetes, hypertension, that's blood pressure, and also it can make you gain weight to become obese. So watch out your processed food intake. When you eat a lot of processed food, from my previous point, I have talked about how they add a lot of sugar. And a lot of sugar is not good for us. And most of the time they contain a lot of salt, which is also not good for us because when they process it, they have to add salt to preserve it. So when they do the processed food, they add a lot of salt and a lot of sugar, which is not good for us. So that's why it causes a lot of health-related issues. It can make you gain weight. So that one alone is not even good for us. When the food is being processed, like I said in my previous point, the fiber is taken away and you don't get any vitamins and minerals as well. So a lot of processed food is not good for us because we need our vitamins and minerals to survive. So please watch out your processed food intake and try to minimize it. In all my videos, I make sure I do a little research. So they are all science-based. In my description below, I'm going to leave some of the science research that I read about the processed food, so that if you have time, you can check it out. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, I would like to hear from you. Please leave it in the comment below what you think about processed food. And I would really like to read them. So I will see you in my next video. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell beside it so that you wouldn't miss any of my videos.